What's going on, guys? This video is mainly directed towards Danny Jugan, but the sim community as well, because there are some of us that still want options and don't care where it comes from as long as somebody's giving an effort. And Danny Jugan is giving really the only effort besides, I don't know about Damon Groh. We'll just call that what we don't know, but whatever. Um, there's a lot of things that can be done with this game that won't take a lot of money, but I don't know what kind of funds that Danny needs to do certain things in the game. I'm just going to go through a list of things that I think should be added first to add to the experience and get closer to simulation football, because bear in mind, guys, this game is not simulation right now. It wasn't intended to be. It came from the Flash market, and it was a 3D translation from a 2D overhead perspective. So this is his first ever attempt on Steam. So, for his first ever attempt and the small budget he had, he's done a masterful job, in my opinion, and I can overlook a lot of the flaws. That being said, I still want to see improvement in the game, obviously. So for the 2016 version, the first thing I'd like to see added is I want to see 55-man rosters. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this that will go into my second thing that I want added in the game. With 55-man rosters, you have more flexibility with your players. Take the Philadelphia Eagles, for example. They have 3 amazing running backs. Now, obviously, you don't want to just use one of them. You want to use all 3. Double tight ends. If you have 2 good tight ends, you want to be able to put those in the game. You can't do that currently. So, Danny, if you're listening, I would love to see that put in first. 55-man team full, sized rosters for all the teams. And of course, their full names. You don't know who S. Davis Jr. is right there, but we just know he's Davis Jr. But see, that's something else that needs to be added. We need to have the full names, displayed. That'll go into franchise mode or whatever. But that's the first thing, and that will go into my second, thing I want added, and that would be a multitude of formations. Right now, we have the barest of bones as far as formations. So if we want an I formation, we only have I formation. We want to have, I twins, double tight end sets, big formation. We want to have the 3 wide receiver set out of the I formation. We want to have multiple ways to attack the defense. But of course, should translate to the defense as well. We don't want the defense to be overwhelmed by a multitude of variety of offensive formations. We want to have the defense to have this as well. Now, I don't know if this takes a lot of money or not, or time or whatever. I'm sure it does take time, but this is something that is very much needed right now. We need a multitude of formations, and with the players to go with it, then we can implement certain attacks, like a double tight end attack or 3 wide receivers on one side. And that's the kind of thing that I really want to see in the next game. Will it happen or not? I don't know. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about animations, because I'm going to talk about this as if I'm coming at this from the idea as if we didn't get the Kickstarter 10,000 goal reached. It's very likely it's not going to get to 10,000. That being said, like I said, there's still a lot of things that can go into it. So I've already talked about the 55 players. I've talked about the formations that we need and how those two go together. So if we have the 55 players, then we can implement the attacks with the formations. There's just so much to talk about, guys. I mean, I'd love to be able to audible on defense. We can't audible on defense yet. That's something that's needed. We obviously need more plays. A play editor has been teased. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but having a play editor, we could have specific plays. We could really go deep then. We could say, okay, the Eagles run a no huddle. We can make all of their plays no huddle. It's kind of like the old Tecmo Bowl days where each playbook was unique. We could go that route. But I still want to see a deeper playbook. The playbook right now is way too shallow. It needs more depth. The main thing this game needs is depth right now. Is if you don't get the animations, you got to go with depth. And the more depth this game has, the game is fun already, but there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed. And there's one example right there, and I'm showing you right now. I'm exploiting the offensive line right now. As you can see, I'm getting to the quarterback almost at will. This is by calling the 4-3 defense with the weak blitz and just shift the line over one time. Although they do sometimes pick it up, but it's most of the time it's a guaranteed sack or pressure. And that's one thing that could be fixed. Like I said, there's a lot of things that could be fixed in this game, and I'm just kind of, winging this video, just trying to throw as many of those ideas out as I can, because I want this game to do well and I want it to improve. So where was I? Okay, we talked about the 55-man players rosters. We talked about the formations. The camera needs an upgrade. We need to be able to zoom in, because you can barely even see the beautiful logos that Ace Bailey made. I'm using his two, the Cincinnati Bengals he made and the Buffalo Bills. These are his creations. I don't have the names in right now. These are just the base names that came with the game. And there's a money play I would like to have fixed. It's that streak play. It works just about every time. And these are just like little things that, I could show Danny. If he watches this video, he can say, okay, he can see what I'm talking about on the forums, in the video, and maybe get a better idea of what I'm talking about. And I know he will watch this video if I ask him, because he's been very receptive to the community and he listens. And that's the one reason I like to support him as well. But see, here again I go. I'm going to go blitz the line. I get pressure every time, every single time. So the offensive line needs a lot of work, obviously, but I know he doesn't have the animations to make that. See, they picked it up that time, but I still got the interception. Yeah, but the cameras, we need to have a better camera view. This is too. It's hard to see anything really. I mean, we really need to have like options to have different cameras, the zoom in abilities, and instant replay would be a huge plus. But the main thing is to just make it more sim. Like, if it's a technique that NFL or college or high school players use, then just put it in the game. One of the biggest things that I want implemented, and I really hope he's listening here, I want to be able to send players in motion. There's a lot of reasons I want to be able to do this, like my wide receivers and such. Now, I don't want to be able to break rules and just move everybody, because you can't do that in real life. I want there to be penalties in this game eventually. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. But with the penalties implemented, then we could do a lot of other things. But the motion shifting, not the motion shifting, the shifting of the offense, shifting your tight end, your wide receivers or whatever, and then hot routing them to certain. We can already hot route, but being able to shift a wide receiver over, that's something I really want to see. And I want to see better flexibility in the defense as well, like shift your defensive backs. Well, you can do it up and down, but you can't do it left to right, and you can't take away certain routes like slants and out routes and stuff, and that's important. And we need to be able to hot route individual defensive players just like offensive players. That would be great. Another thing I want to see in the future is play art. Before the snap, I'd like to be able to zoom out and look at the play. That's something that we don't have right now. So if we forget the play, forget the route or whatever, we could always call a hot route, but we always want to be able to look at the play prior to the snap. That's something that definitely needs to be put in the game. On defense as well, if we're on defense, we should be able to look and see what our defensive play is as well. So if we get play art, that will add even more depth to this game that is sorely needed right now. We're just needing the basics right now. I'm just pining for the basics. Just let us send a guy in motion. 55-man rosters. These are basic things that are in most football games. And because this game was not a simulation game to begin with, but Danny has said that he wants to take it in the direction we want. So if we're a simulation gamer, we obviously want sim, so we want 55-man rosters. I think we can all agree with that. We all want to have a multitude of formations to implement certain attacks. We want to be able to see what play we're running with the play art, calling audibles on defense. These are just basic things that need to be put in the game. The punt and kick return view, it has got to be changed. It is very awkward looking. It is different. You definitely know you're playing a different game when you kick off and return in this game. But if he could just find a way to flip the camera around, that would be much, much appreciated. But if he can't do it, that's fine either way. You just got to take one step at a time. Cosmetically, we can do anything we want in this game so far with the player outfits, with the uniforms and stuff. And that's very important because he's going to take everything that we had in this game. He's going to carry it over to the next game. So all the customization tools that we have in this game, we'll be able to take into the next game. So we'll be able to have our uniforms. As far as the logos go, as far as the logos on the field and stuff, I don't know. I really wish there was a way to mod this game with textures and stuff with the fields and this crowd and everything. Not from the standpoint of just a regular Joe, but just somebody that could go in that knew a lot about modding and could do it. I'm not asking Danny to make it to where we can change the textures easily. No, if somebody had access and knew how to do it, like Jeros or somebody like that, that'd be great. But I'm not asking him to just make it to where we can mod the textures right now easily. If they have access to the kit or whatever, I don't know how it works. Most games on Steam that support mods have a SDK, a software development kit. I don't know how this game works and everything, so I'm kind of ignorant when it comes to that. But that's something that could be improved without Danny's help, really. I mean, if you look at the modding community and what they've done, not just in PC games, but if you look at what they've done with GameCube games, and there's somebody right now making a remake of Zelda Twilight Princess that looks better than what Nintendo's doing. So there's so much talent out there in just the community that can do things. So if we just had the means to do something, we could really help make this game even better than it is right now. That's just another thing I'd like for him to consider. So what else to talk about? We don't know if we're getting franchise mode or not. That's something that would really add a lot of depth to the game. Right now, I just want to be able to do basic things, like I said, shifting my offensive players in certain positions, having a full roster, being able to substitute, have injuries. Obviously substitution and injuries go hand in hand. So you want to have the threat of being injured. I mean, that fear. So if you're blowing a team out, you might want to take out your starting quarterback. I want to have that kind of realism in the game. Eventually, I don't know if he's going to go that route, but that's something that that obviously I want to see. I want to have the fear of my players getting injured. Do I need to play this guy this week? He's just coming off a bad ankle. Maybe I should put in this guy. That's the kind of depth that we want to have, in franchise mode if it's ever implemented this year. I don't know I'm not sure if he's going to put in franchise mode this year. He said so, but I think that was something to do with the Kickstarter. I don't know. Now, I do want to praise Danny. He's working on the formation of a pocket, for the offensive line. And it looks really good. The last picture I saw looked really good of the pocket actually forming. As you can see, it's not happening in this game. But let me show you a picture of it right here. Now, I don't know if this is for next year's game or if it's going to come as a patch in this version, but this looks very nice, and this is progress. This is the kind of stuff that we asked for in the forums, and I like the pocket here. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see. Just basic fundamentals. The formation of a pocket forming there, where a quarterback can step up into the pocket. And that's another thing I want to talk about. The passing game, I like the way the passing game is currently, but I want to see the movement of the quarterback to change. So I want the quarterback, instead of when he starts to roll out or whatever, I want to see better player movement. And I don't know if he's got to have a different animation for that, but I want to see him backpedal and move laterally, like he's still trying to throw, not like he's running away. Like if you move laterally with the quarterback from the pocket, then he's already trying to run. It's like a running animation. I want to see a different type of animation while you're inside or behind the line of scrimmage even. Or if you break outside of the pocket, out of the tackle box, then you could maybe run. But I want to be able to see that kind of maneuverability, implemented with the pocket quarterback. How he moves his feet. That's the kind of thing. Now I don't know if he can do the step up animation, but that would be awesome. And maybe even add a bonus to the pass if you're stepping up into your throws, because that's something in Madden 08 that I always praised. When you step up into your throws in Madden 08, you always have accurate passes. If you were to just stand still, you wouldn't get as much power or accuracy. And that's something I'd love to see in this game. You could still do the cursor and everything, just add like a little bit of a bonus. Maybe the circle gets a bit smaller. As in this game, the smaller the circle is, the more accurate the pass is. So maybe add that into the game. Have a step-up mechanic where the quarterback can step up in the pocket, and then he throws it. It's going to be a lot more accurate. That's something I'd love to see. Pass trajectories, I'm not sure about that, how hard that would be, but that'd be a great thing as well. Ball physics need a lot of work. When the ball hits the ground in this game, especially on punts, it just dies. It doesn't bounce at all. That's something that could really use some work, is the ball physics in the game. I know this game was made on a very small budget, and I'm looking long term here, and he says he's in this for the long haul, so I'm just kind of throwing that out here. Ball physics need a lot of work. And also right there where he punted the ball, the way the camera zooms into the punter, it just is unnecessary. We want to still be able to see what's happening on the defensive line so we can get blocks, and that leads me to my next point. We desperately need a move for the defense where they put their hands up to try to block a punt or a pass or something. We need a knockdown move. There's been many occasions where I've almost blocked a kick, but I just couldn't get my hands up because there is no button that exists to do that. We need that desperately, as well as moves for the running back. We've already talked about that on the forums. We really need running back moves, jukes, spins, stiff arms, but that's part of the Kickstarter, I believe. Again, I'm trying not to go that route, but it's something that is desperately needed, and it'd be great to have, but like I said, I don't know how much money it takes to do some of these things. There are no assets really on the internet that you can just go and get. They have to be custom made, and that's where money comes in. Obviously, he'd love to have better tackle animations and animations for the offensive line and defensive line. There are no swim moves or spins for the defensive linemen. There's nothing like that. There's no clubs, and we need those kind of things, but that's why the Kickstarter exists. But it just doesn't seem like people are going to support it for some reason. Maybe he just doesn't have the right audience. I don't know. It's a shame because I really wanted this Kickstarter to do well, but it just isn't on pace to do well. But that being said, I still think he can make a lot of improvements to this game to make it more appealing, and maybe the next iteration he'll have more success and be able to put even more into the game. That's where I'm hoping that eventually this game can go. And I'm going to continue to try to add my feedback as much as I can in the forums, report bugs and glitches, and that's another reason I made this video, because I wanted him to see that defensive line glitch exploit thing that I was using. I'd like to see that fixed. But that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you guys try to add your own ideas somewhere in the forums, on Twitter. Make a video, do something. Just try to get more people to know about that there's somebody trying to make a game. And if we can just use our voice and tell this developer that actually cares and is trying to make something happen, maybe we can get some more stuff in the game that'll make it more appealing, and maybe even more people will figure out, hey, what's this Axis football? What is this? That's where it has to start, guys.